Alright, how's it going, YouTube? Steph here. Now, I want to explain a couple things before we get into this video. To start off, this channel is not really a normal channel. This video is a bit of an oddity. Normally on this channel, I just dump videos of me, or I want to dump videos of me pulling off some of my hardest accomplishments in gaming and like earning achievements. I also use it to dump mostly privated videos of how to earn achievements, as I write a lot of guides on Steam. So I don't really know how much I'm going to be talking in these videos, but this one I felt like I wanted to include my voice because I checked on YouTube and I noticed that nobody has posted a video of how to get an S or an S plus rank in this game for the full game. It's usually the leaving early with the van method, and I have only seen like one or two videos of somebody beating the game on the hardest difficulty. So I thought combining the two and helping people get their S ranks or S plus ranks if they wanted to achieve for that, strive for that, would be a good thing. Now, unfortunately, the audio that I'm going to do is recorded in post. I did do live recording of my audio as I went through the run, but it didn't capture for whatever reason. So I'm going to try my best to keep up with the video and explain what's going on. Bear with me, I've never done something like this before. Hopefully I do it properly. So with that said, I also want to explain a couple things about the gameplay. First and foremost, we're going to be playing on the hardest difficulty, obviously. If you're unfamiliar with it, no ammo spawns whatsoever outside of two piles. One that spawns in the room with the wrench, and another pile that spawns in the storage box for a total of 23 pistol shots. That's all you get. For the majority of the run, you're going to be using the wrench. Now, there is a section in the run where I was explaining the wrench, so you're going to see me standing around while I explain that. I'll explain the wrench when we get there. It's pretty important, honestly. The next thing that I want to explain is if I pop over here, you're going to see that no cheats are active. I do this entire run with 0 cheats, and I'll prove that when we head over to the actual recording. The only thing that I turned on was speedrun mode, and the reason I turned that on is because I get a timer in the top right here that shows how long I've been playing. It doesn't change anything in the game except for that. And it's a good indicator for you guys to see that it is a single take, a single run. There were no cuts, no splices, etc. The only cut in the video is going to be here in a moment where I jump to the actual run. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll explain things as we go. I'm not going to talk the entire time, just when I feel I need to explain something, which there is a lot to explain, so bear with me. Anyways, we're going to cut to the run in 3, 2, 1 now. Okay, so as you're going to see in a moment, I'm going to show off that I don't have any cheats active. You can see it here. If you want to keep the cheats active, they actually don't disable achievements, so you can go for your S rank achievements with them active. But if you want to do them without them for, you know, the fun or the challenge of it, this video is strictly for that, to show you the route that I take. And then I also show you me activating speedrun mode, where the timer is. And again, this is going to be important so you guys can see that I don't cut anything else out of the run, just the intro that I edited, because this, me talking here is all done in post. Again, I did do live, but I fucked up. It didn't record for whatever reason, so, you know, please forgive that. But yeah, while we load into the game, let's talk a little bit about how to earn an S or an S plus rank. To get an S rank is pretty easy, in my opinion. You're allowed to save, I think, 4 times or less. You're not allowed to die, I believe, and you have to beat the game in 2 hours. For an S plus, you have to have 0 saves, 0 deaths, and I'm not sure what the time is. If it's not 2 hours like S rank, it might be an hour and a half or an hour. But it's not too difficult either way. Anyways, you're going to see me load into Unfriendly difficulty here. The first thing that we're going to do once we pick up the envelope is we're going to grab the candy bar from the glove compartment. And this is going to be pretty important. We're going to buy a couple of them a little later in the run. These are just so we can get through certain areas a little easier. They're not completely required for a lot of these areas. They just make a little dangerous, some dangerous sections easier to not take a hit. And on a run where you can't save and you die in 2 hits, that's really helpful. So over here, we're going to grab the aviary key. I end up not using this, but it would have been helpful. I recommend you go for it if you need the extra health. Go ahead and grab it and plug it in immediately.
Hey, who's that?
Once you plug it in, the first thing we're going to do before we go into Studio 4 is we're actually going to open up the shutter on the side here. And if you're not familiar with how to do that, you go behind the taxi and there's actually a secret button you can hit. We're going to do this because later we have to come back for a key item, and it's going to get us past a kind of dangerous hallway without having to go through the enemies. So it's just nice. Another thing you're going to see me do is grab coins like this one in the yellow cup. Make sure you grab the ones that I grab. We're going to be saving our health vials for the curtain boss. And since we can't save, coins are going to be really important to help us heal. Because using healing stations and opening up the supply box actually doesn't affect your run. So it's great to do that, and there's another coin right here when we drop down.
I like to start with pipe cleaners to give myself something to make shit.
I learned my numbers when I was a kid. Here, let me show you how I learned. Hold your hand.
So you can kind of see me wiggling my camera around here. I was explaining the ammo situation, and I'm about to explain the wrench situation as well. So basically, there's two very important things with the wrench for this difficulty. The first one is stun attacks. When you attack a puppet when they don't notice you, or just as they notice you and they're wiggling their arms, you can smack them and stun them, and that's where they'll kind of bob back and forth, and I think you'll see me wiggle my camera. Yeah, there it is. The other thing is a stealth attack. If you attack a puppet while you're not detected, you can actually keep wailing on them and stun lock them to death. I don't end up using this in the run, but I want you guys to know that that's an option in case you need to use it. The biggest thing is mostly the stun attack. Run up to a puppet, and just as they notice you, before they notice you, give them a smack, and you can walk through them without taking damage. Very important for this run. So pop into the side room, grab the 2 coins, then we're going to hop out, and we're going to push past the June bug here. This is actually the hallway that we're going to skip later. It's very dangerous because 3 little goobers are going to spawn. We're going to open up this door here, and we're going to pop back in. This is so we can safely grab a health drink. Once you grab it and you're going back upstairs, you're going to quickly spam E on the door to your left. If you do it quick enough, Junebug shouldn't be able to attack you. Now, coming into this room here, I think this is personally the second hardest room in the game. It's very easy to take a hit here, if not just flat out die. So the method that I use is we're going to try to kill Leonard, and we're also going to use him to hold back Norman as long as we can. I do end up taking a hit. You probably will end up as well. It's not a big deal. Use the health that we just picked up. If you can get through without taking a hit, great. If you can't, again, don't even worry about it. It's going to happen. Accidents happen, not a big deal.
Oh, jeez.
What's your favorite color?
Stay back.
All my friends, what their favorite colors are.
And just to reiterate, as I said, I'm only really going to talk where I think I need to, so if there's moments or long stretches of just, quiet, please forgive me. I don't really plan to talk much in these videos. I'm just going over what I do in the run to help you out.
Music? Music! Oh, I love it so much. You've never heard music before? Whoa! Music?
So heading into Studio 4 proper, there's going to be a lot to explain. I'm sorry if it seems like information dump. The first thing that I went over is that there's actually an exploit in the laundry room that you can do. You're going to see me kind of wiggle towards its location, but unfortunately I don't know how to do the exploit, so I do explain how to do it. You're going to see me come up to a lever here, and to do the exploit you have to not pull this lever, so you would just avoid this room entirely. Again, I don't know how to do it, so I pull the lever so I can open the door. And I'm going to wait till I circle around to the other side so I can have a visual aid as I explain what's happening, or how to do the exploit at least, if you want to try for yourself. So once you pop into this room here, If you have the gate closed, you can actually drop down and walk along the left wall. You're going to see me kind of follow along it like I am right now. And you can grab the key from that wall and then hop out. Again, I don't know how to do it, so I drop down, quickly open the laundromat door, and then I kick the shit out of Leonard. You can avoid him, but it's much easier to just beat the shit out of him. If you try to despawn him, he's going to keep spawning in that room until you grab the key, I'm pretty sure. So beat him up, grab the key, and then continue on. Grab the block and the coin, and then we're going to head into the pizzeria. And I actually placed the block here, and then we head into the pizzeria. You're going to set the clock to mushroom, and we're going to need to do this for a block later. Now here, you're going to see me point to this door here. You can actually cut across and go into that building, but Junebug will trigger. You should be able to have enough time to get in without her grabbing you. Instead, I choose a safer route where I just go around. I'm going to choose a lot of safer routes in the run just for recording purposes and to make it easier for myself. Also to show off just easier sections. Here I grab a health vial, then I run in and grab the block, and finally I'm going to run upstairs and grab an extra coin. I think I also explain healing stations. When you come in to heal, make sure that you interact with the purple machine, not the green. If you save a single time, you're automatically locked to an S rank. So if you're going for S+, be very careful. If you're just going for the S achievements, you can save a couple of times. It's not a big deal. When you come out, make sure you hug the wall here. And we're going to have to trigger a Norman up ahead. There's two ways to do this. You can do it the ballsy way like I do and just grab it. Or you can trigger Norman, run a loop around the building, and then grab it while he's behind you. Either way, after you grab the block, head out and despawn him. It's just easier to do that. Sometimes when you come back in, Leonard can be standing in front of the staircase. If he is, beat him up. Again, he's very slow, so he's not really a threat. Okay, coming out from that room, we're not going to fight George. We're actually going to loop him around this planter, this little tree here. Don't go too fast. I've actually done that before, and he ended up cutting me off and grabbing me. So make sure he comes around. You also don't want to go too slow, obviously. Make sure you safely avoid him, and pop in to grab the last two blocks that we need for the puzzle downstairs.
What's inside the box?
Now that we have all the blocks collected, we're going to come upstairs and we're going to give George a concussion. Once we get past him, we're going to exit back through the front double doors just to despawn him so he's not chasing us while we try to set up the puzzle. Sometimes when you're coming down here, Leonard can be right here. All you have to do is go to the right of the sign and loop around the area and exit out through the doors as normal. And then when you're putting the blocks in, every block except for the first and the last two has to be rotated once. So just plop them in, rotate them, and you're good to go. I'm sure you've already done this before, so you know what you're doing. And there you have it. That is Studio 4 done. Easy peasy, no problems. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty sure I mentioned, we're going to be buying a couple of candy bars, so that way we can speed through a couple of areas. If you're not sure what candy bars do, they increase your movement speed. So we're going to pop back over to the hotel, and we're going to buy 4 candy bars total. You don't need all of these. I think I mentioned that earlier as well. They just help to make certain difficult sections a little easier. Some of them are kind of mandatory. I recommend getting them just to make your life easier. So now dipping down to the sewers, there's going to be a lot more to explain. Ray won't always be here on every run, but if he is, you can hug the wall that I do and smack him through the tube to make him go away. And we're going to kind of be careful of Ray in a couple of spots. I'll go over that as we go. In this room, there's going to be a June bug. You can turn the corner and get the stun smack on her, but the timing is very, very hard. So instead, what I opt to do is I lure her out and I pull her around this wall here. You'll see me stop, and that's just to let her catch up, because if you go too fast, she'll actually turn around and cut you off, and I have been grabbed before like that. Coming into this room, be very, very careful. Grab the item in this locker, and then do not trigger the jump scare in that vent. If you do, a Norman is going to spawn later in on that staircase that I show off, and that's a very inconvenient spot to have a Norman spawn. Coming to this next room, we're going to listen for Ray. If you hear him, check the first 2 pipes to see if he's there. If he isn't, immediately leave back through the door that you came into. So you can see he's right there. That's completely fine. I can walk right past him. Not an issue. We're mostly being careful of him being in the pipe behind me right now, because that can cause issues during a couple of times you have to pass through. Coming into this room, we're going to grab the item on the desk, and then we're also going to grab a health vial in the cabinet here. Then prepare for a bunch of Normans to spawn in. It's pretty easy to loop them around the room, so just, kite them around and head back out. You'll see me do it here. Pretty simple stuff. And upon leaving the room, be very, very careful. Junebug has a very good line of sight on you, and she can trigger. Instead, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hug the railing that I hug. And as soon as you see the pipe, not the pipe, the sign that I aim at, you're going to punch her. If Ray is in the pipe at the end of the room, immediately turn back around and despawn him, because if you try to pass through him right here, he will punch you. Once inside, we're going to immediately leave, and if Ray is here, go back inside to despawn him. If you try to move, he'll instantly punch you, so, avoid that, obviously. And the reason we're coming back out is to grab the final candy bar that we need out of the suitcase just up ahead. Now, I'm assuming if you guys are watching this video, you probably know how to do the puzzles, but I'll explain the easiest solutions anyways. For the first punch card, you're going to do square, square, triangle, have that in your inventory, and then set up square, square, circle. Once you grab square, square, circle, the final one is all 3 shapes. And after you insert that, you have a few moments to organize your box if you need to before the door opens.
Wow. Wonder how deep this goes.
Coming into this next room, this is where we're going to pop our first candy bar. And we actually passed through this room 3 times, so that's 3 candy bars that we popped total just for this room alone. A little later in the run, you're going to see me kind of dawdle around, and I'm trying to figure out what the best way to navigate this area is, because later we have to come backwards through the path. And there could be a section where Ray is blocking you, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So if you see me kind of wandering around, it's because I'm trying to figure that out. Coming into this next room, don't interact with the breaker box for the puzzle. Instead, just grab the key. If you interact with the breaker box, the Norman on the table comes alive. It's not a big deal if he does. He's facing away from you, so you can just stun him. But it's just quicker and easier to not bother with him. And I think I pop back in here. Yeah, I do. I pop back in to drop off the blue key, as well as grab the extra ammo and coins out of the box just to have them in case I need them. Give George another concussion, he loves them. Now, inside the next hall, we're going to hop into the shotgun room, but we're not going to take it because obviously ammo doesn't spawn for it. It would just take up inventory space. But there is a coin in this locker that we're going to grab, this filing cabinet. So go ahead and grab that, and then when we hop out of into the next room, we're going to lure Junebug around the wall again like we did earlier. And as we come into this room, you can see that Norman did not spawn on the staircase. It's just such a hassle saver, I guess you can call it. And since he didn't spawn in, you can just safely drop off that ledge now. He won't spawn in anymore. Besides, we're not coming back to that room ever again. Once again, coming into this area, make sure to listen for Ray. If you hear him, check the first 2 pipes. If you don't see him, reset them. If you don't hear him at all, just continue through. You're completely safe if he's not spawned in. Coming back into this room, we're going to pop another candy bar. It's the same pattern, same method. This is our second time coming through the room out of 3. And when you cut the corner to the breaker box, the fastest way to solve it is to interact with slots 3, 1, 2, 4. Now, grabbing this bolt cutter, as soon as you grab it, immediately book it out of this room because the Norman holding it is actually going to come alive. You can see him there in the corner. Once you despawn him, head back in. If you try to cut open the door while he's active, he will attack you during that animation. So it's not worth losing the health over that. Just despawn him real quick. Coming into this hallway now, George is going to be active, so give him another concussion. He's collecting them and continuing it on. I kind of butchered that, huh? This time we're not going to pull the Junebug. We're instead going to hug this pillar here. For whatever reason, if you do that, she just doesn't see you. So that'll get you by just safe, and that is the sewers completed. Easy peasy as well. Moving on to the offices, I think that is the hardest area in the game. There's a couple of sections where your run can just flat out die due to bad RNG, so be fully prepared to reset at this area. Thankfully, it's not too bad. You're only like 25 to 30 minutes into the run, but it is kind of disheartening to lose to no fault of your own.
Great. It's starting again.
Now, you're going to see me pop in here and kind of check around. Anytime I enter a room that has the 3 little puppet goobers, I just check where they are to see if it's a good pattern, because sometimes they can spawn bunched together, and one of them can accidentally hit you. You also want to come around the corner to trigger the goblet to move down. And if you take a hit in this room, it's really not too bad. There's a healing station in this room here. Now again, as you pop out, after I do cleaning up here, you're going to see me check around for their locations. You want to do it very quickly because Goblet is going to be charging back towards you. If they're in a bad area, quickly 180 and hop back in. I think I'm explaining it right here. So, you know, check their locations quickly. If it's clean, move on. If it's not, hop in and reset. Now, moving on to the theater. This is another dangerous room in my opinion, but we make it a little easy with a candy bar, which we're going to pop about halfway through the room. The idea here is we're going to grab the mask and then come back up the same staircase that we went down. And that's so we can pull in the other side of the puppets to just group up into one big glob. Otherwise, they're going to cut you off and catch you at the top of the staircase. You can see me here pointing them out. Be a little careful of Junebug because she is the fastest puppet and she will catch up. And also try to take your time so that way Norman and George don't cut you off through the seats. It's fully possible to do that room without the candy bar, but 9 times out of 10 I get caught, so I just recommend doing it with it. The candy bar will also help with one of the upcoming rooms. Here we're going to trigger another goblet, and then in the room just past her, we're going to run to the room to the top right. And if you don't have the candy bar, you're going to have to deal with Leonard in front of you and George behind you, which can be kind of a pain in the ass. You might take a hit. So the candy bar helps you get to this room safely. Now, coming out is very dangerous. When you turn around to smack Leonard, stop at the corner. I'm going to point at it. Stop at the corner and smack him. If you go a foot too far, he will auto-grab you and you will take damage. Be very careful attacking him. This room right here is another dangerous room. We're going to grab the health, and then we're going to trigger Junebug. When we do, we're going to run back to the corner with the health, and we're going to try to kite her around the outside of the room. It's a little tricky, and it's kind of a 50-50 on whether you get hit. You can see here how I do it, and thankfully I don't get hit. If you do, not a big deal. Heal it up and keep on going on. But try your best not to get hit. In this room, we have a little bit of an exploit we can do with the window. You can actually grab the mask through it, so you don't have to, circle back through the whole zone later on with the key to grab it. It just saves a lot of time, hassle, and resources. You can also do it with this little puzzle piece here, but I don't know what the lineup is. Plus, it takes like a second to grab it, so just grab it. Coming into this next room, be careful. There's going to be a Norman on the staircase to your left. You want to try to get the stun attack. If you don't get it, quickly 180 and go back through the door you came through. But if you do, push on. If you're feeling unsafe, again, head back out. Thankfully, I do get it. The timing is a little tricky, so if you need to practice it, practice it. Don't be afraid to just pop in and out of the room a few times to get a feel for the timing. Now, this is the biggest area where runs come to die. The board game has crazy RNG that can just fuck you over for no reason. If you do mess up once or twice, I recommend doing the shooting gallery so you can get 2 health vials. The only issue with that is I like to save a couple of shots for 2 key areas. I like to save 6 shots for the dogs and 6 shots for the curtain boss. But unfortunately, I do end up having to do it, and I have to improvise with my ammo. It's not a big deal. You can work around it. So as you can see, I was dealt some pretty bad hands. I managed to snag the victory in the second run. I do end up doing the shooting gallery for the extra 2 health kits because I was feeling a little unsafe, and they actually do end up coming in handy. I did end up needing them. Now the biggest issue, you can see me trying to line up my shots so I don't waste ammo, but I end up wasting a couple of shots unfortunately, and I have to kind of improvise with my shots later, which I'll explain when we get there. But, if you need this, feel free to do it. I do recommend trying to save at least 6 shots. And before you leave, also unlock the door to the left of the safe. I always forget to do it. You see me forget it here and I turn back. This is going to be a really helpful shortcut if you don't want to deal with a specific hallway, which I'll explain later. We're also going to cut through it later just because, I believe. But it is very helpful to have that door open. So coming in here, give George another concussion, and loop around the right to grab the final mask. And when you come out, you're going to hug the right wall so you don't trigger Leonard. And again, be very careful, make sure you stop at the corner when you go to smack him.
When are we starting? Are we starting now?
And the order for the masks is sad, happy, shocked, angry. Now you're going to see me come down here and kind of contemplate my route. Normally what I do is I would pass back through the hallway with Leonard and George, and I would go through the room at the far end here that I'm looking at right now. I would pop back in and I would smack George, just because it's easier to smack him from that angle. It's easier to get the jump on him. I think I end up taking a hit here, I can't remember. No, I actually just don't even bother. I just end up doing the safe route. So yeah, this is the shortcut that I mentioned. If you unlock the door to the left of the safe, you can do this so you don't have to deal with George. I think I ended up taking a hit in a prior run, which is why I took the safety route here. And you can see me triggering the goblets to get them out of my way. Always make sure that they're not near the doorways when you go through. Now, when you're ready to set up the dice, the first row is 416, the second row is 254, and the third row is 312. Or 312, I guess. Now coming out here, I kind of explain a bit about the situation under the staircase. A Liliana and a Junebug spawn in, and you can get the stun hits on them. Junebug is much easier. Liliana takes a bit of good timing. If you do want to go for the stun, you have to make sure that you come in from the angle right there that I show, not the other one. Instead, what I end up doing is I go through the unsafe route, and I actually pull the Liliana out. This is because, again, I got hit by her in a run, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to just try a safety strat here. You can pull her out, and then the Junebug is much easier to bash. But if you wanted to bash too, you would come in from this angle, hit Liliana right now, go through, and then hit Junebug. But again, the timing is a little 50-50. Now, coming back out, Liliana and Junebug can be in one of two spots. They can be in the exact same spots that they started at, which is right in front of the door and then right at the staircase. Or they can spawn a little further into the main atrium. If they spawn here, just give them a bop like I do. If they spawn further into the lobby, run past them right into the doorway here. Not a big issue at all. Now, coming upstairs, there's going to be a health vial right here. Be sure to grab that, then head in to grab the lobby key. And then we're going to head downstairs for the second area that your run can just flat out die. The curtain boss. Now, unfortunately, since I'm low on ammo, I can't shoot the eyes. I don't really shoot the eyes to begin with. If you want to take a couple of shots at them just because you can. But I'm going to show you how to do it with a wrench. I think I end up taking a couple of hits anyways. But this is why we save the health vials for specifically this boss here. Now, what you want to do as soon as you load in is run to the pillar in front of her and pop a candy bar. The candy bar is extremely necessary. You cannot do this boss without it, as far as I'm aware. So what I end up doing is I end up waiting for her to spit, and I use that as my go to run in and smack her eyeballs. Smack 2 sets and then run away. You might get hit by the goobers, you might not. If you do, heal up, not a big deal. You're gonna run behind the counter, basically. You're safe back here. She has a hard time hitting you if you're here. And then deal with the goobers. If you didn't do the shooting gallery, I would shoot them here. But since I did, I ended up having to punch them. I think I shoot the second set just because I felt comfortable with my ammo. And, you know, if you take a hit, you're probably gonna take a couple hits in this boss fight. It's really not a big deal. Hopefully you have enough health to get through it. Once you've cleared out the bottom set of eyes, what you're basically gonna do is time the shots and run left and right and just keep wailing on her. If you time it properly, you can just keep doing it till she's dead. Unfortunately, I think I fuck it up a couple times and I end up getting hit. But before you do that, make sure that you pop 2 more eyes. Another set of goobers are going to spawn. And yeah, you see me pull up the pistol here to shoot them because I felt comfortable. So now that you've dealt with both set of goobers, you can run in, run back and forth, keep whacking her. If she hits you, fall back behind a pillar or the concierge desk and heal up, and then run back in when you feel it's safe. I ended up walking into that shot. That was my mistake. I actually didn't end up needing to... You know, I didn't really need to waste that health kit. I could have had extra. Thankfully, I had backup plans. But, you know, try to be careful. Really time this boss out, because it does suck trying to fight her with the wrench. And once you pop 2 more eyes, she's done, and you can move on.
Okay, Gordon, what's next?
Now, coming to the garden, this part of the run is pretty safe for the most part. There's 1 or 2 dangerous areas, but it's really not bad. Once you come through the safe room, I'm actually going to waste 3 of my shots on the dog here, just because I have not found a safe way around it. And this is strictly what I wanted to save 6 shots for, is this dog and another one. They're the only 2 dogs that we need to interact with, so go ahead and put him down and then continue on.
What was that? Maybe I can use this to dissolve whatever's blocking the elevator in the hotel.
So after you grab the battery from that room, you might be tempted to plug it in and go down the elevator right away. We're actually going to do that last, and the reason being is when you go down that elevator, a dog is going to spawn right about here. And we want to avoid that. We don't want to fight him more than once. So do the elevator last, come out of this doorway and hug the right wall. This will let you avoid this dog here. If he does start chasing you, it's really not a big deal. You already have distance on him and you should be able to get away just fine. Now, this section coming up is one that I haven't really found a good plan for. You're going to be in a small room with a Norman and a George, and it's very hard to navigate around them without getting hit. You're going to see me kind of hug the left wall and explain that you can hug the wall, and as soon as you reach the drums, you can pop out and bash Norman for the stun, but it's very difficult to get the timing for this. So right about here, I'm doing it, and yeah, you can jump out at the drums and smack him, but it's very hard. So instead I try a bit of an experimental method. I pop a candy bar, and I trigger Norman to run down to me, and this ended up working out in my favor. It was really close to him grabbing me, so the timing can probably be improved. but this does work. If it doesn't, I recommend just taking the hit and moving on, not a big deal. I'm surprised he didn't hit me since his grab range is the furthest. But that seems to be the safest way that I found to get through that room. Now, popping out of the offices, we're going to head into Studio 4 again, and this is exactly why we opened the shutter. If you remember that first hallway with the June bug where we grabbed the health vial at the start of the game, instead of just her being there, there's also going to be 3 goobers accompanying her. So this shortcut lets us circumvent her, and we don't have to go through that hallway at all to get to the key that we need. And it's just helpful because that hallway is very dangerous. You can get hit once or twice there if you're not careful. So I recommend doing this route. So coming back into the garden, if you hug this left wall here, the dog shouldn't chase you. If it does, reset the room, and then hug this wall as tight as you can, and again, it shouldn't chase you. If it does, you kind of shit out of luck there, but it shouldn't. Once you go upstairs, I don't know the pattern for these off the top of my head, I just know where the colors go, so I kind of use that to figure out where to place them. Once you come down the stairs, hug the right wall. If the dog chases you, it's not a big deal. We're already on our way out anyways. Now, going down the elevator, this room can really suck. There is going to be a Leonard, a Norman, and a Junebug from earlier where we popped the candy bar, and they're all in really weird spots. Plus, Ray can spawn in. So when you pop in, you want to check to make sure he's not to your right here. If he's not, go ahead and take out Leonard. If he is, go back up the elevator to reset him. So here we're going to beat up Leonard just to get him out of the picture.
They will
And we're going to pop our final candy bar. Again, not necessary, just really helpful. Especially to get past this Junebug because she is so fucking fast. Now, in this room, I end up popping open the safe for the second aviary key, but I forget to use it, and it actually would have helped me out. I didn't end up needing the health vials, but it would have been a lot safer if I had them. So don't be like me. If you're feeling unsafe, make sure you pop open that aviary and get the 2 health vials for doing the puzzle in there. And here you're going to see me kind of waddle around. I'm trying to figure out what a safer route to get back is, because if you go back through the way we came, there's a very good chance that Ray and Norman are going to block you, and you end up getting double hit. I've lost a lot of runs to that. So here I'm trying to test out different patterns, and you're eventually going to see one that ends up working out really safely. So right here, I give George his customary concussion, and I remember that the boat is actually gone, that you can't take it again unless you take it back. So I'm like, ah, shit, I actually have to go through that dangerous path. And then I remember that there's another door, and that door actually ends up being very, very safe to take. And just like that, we're back out here. We have a really good setup. It's a great way to just come out, pull Leonard out from the elevator, and not have to deal with getting fucked up by Ray and Norman. Highly recommend you take that route and don't try to risk coming back the way we came in.
When are we starting? Are we starting now? Oh, yeah, the 2, yeah, the 3, and the 4. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Happens when I scream.
Now to set up the solution, you're going to plug in all the juices, turn on the water. You're going to hold red for 1 to 2 seconds, green for 1 to 2 seconds, blue for 3 to 4, and then finally green for 2 to 3. Now coming back into the elevator room is going to be the second dog that we have to shoot, and this is the last time that you have to use your ammo. Again, you don't get any more ammo than this, so it doesn't even matter. Take him out, head past him, and then again at this dog, you're just going to hug the right wall and move on right on by. And there we have it, the garden section is done. Moving on to the final area of the game, which overall is honestly pretty easy. There's one area that I haven't figured out yet. I take a mandatory hit there. But if there is a way around it, you know, feel free to post it in the comments. Maybe you guys can come up with better paths than I have. This is just what works for me, obviously. So coming in, you're going to go up the right staircase, go into the purple door, and there's actually a few exploits that we can do in this room. We're going to grab the supplies, and we're going to immediately pump the tomato into the microwave, the soup on the stove, and then you're going to straight up just chop the milk into a banana because, you know, that's how things work. This might get patched, but, you know, take advantage of it while you can. There might also be a fast way to cook the soup. I haven't tested with it yet. I just end up waiting the 20 seconds here. Now, once you have all three, the instructions say you have to wait 5 seconds, but you actually don't. You can just pop back in immediately and take the key. Once you have that, head into the left room, and you have to be very, very quick here. You can probably stun lock Liliana, but I just smack her and do what I need to do quickly and leave. It's up to you how you want to do that. Once you've set that up, go to the blue room, open the shutters. Then head on out, go right into the room, and grab the puzzle piece. With that said, this next room can be a little tricky, but it's not overall too bad. You just have to be a little quick. We're going to give George his final concussion of the game, so go ahead and smack him. And then quickly unlock this bookcase and go through it. That's to reset George, obviously. Once you're through, head back in and immediately bonk the shit out of Junebug, and you're going to grab the puzzle piece out of the middle drawer. Now, this room coming up is the room that I was talking about. I end up taking an unavoidable attack from Liliana. I really don't know how to get through this room safely. You might be able to beat her up without her grabbing you, but I end up just taking the hit. I think I tried to move around the side of her there, but it didn't end up working out.
We keep hanging out together.
And then again, in this room, you're going to have 3 little goobers. If you get here, it's not really a big deal. Try not to until the end, obviously. Especially because I didn't have any heals. I think I ended up getting hit by Pig here. And I was kind of freaking out, but it was okay because there's a healing station in the next room. But if you got to that point, all of the hardest parts are behind you. If you get past that hallway right there, you have pretty much completed the run. You have your S rank, your S plus, whatever you're going for. The only other thing that you have to deal with is the final boss, which no matter how you handle him, is a cakewalk. You actually can go for the minigun on this difficulty and have it fully loaded with the 999 shots. The only issue is the time that, by the time you can go get it and the area you're at in the game, I don't really think it's worth it. Plus the time that it takes to go grab it really doesn't outweigh how much it helps. You know, by the time you grab it and use it to kill the final boss or whatever, you could have just waited the 2 minutes for the gate to drop. It doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. Plus, you risk, you know, taking damage to the Junebug and George that are in that, in Studio 5. So with all that said, that's pretty much the run. All that's left is the final boss, and it's 2 minutes of running in a circle. You're going to see the exact pattern that I take. So I'm pretty much just going to leave you with the ending of the video here, the final boss section. Hopefully this video helps you guys get your S rank, your S plus, achievements, whatever it is you're going for, or just helped you beat this difficulty overall. It's really not too bad. Learning it was really fun, but that's all I have to say. So yeah, enjoy your runs. Hope you guys have a good night, and that's it for me.
Unfriendly neighborhood. What are you supposed to be? Fine.